Making headlines this hour. Brigadier General Mohammed Salim says efforts are underway to train Maldives National Defense Force Coast Guard officers to dive to depths of 100 meters. According to recent data released by the Ministry of Homeland Security, Labor and Technology, the number of migrant workers operating with valid work permits in the Maldives has reached 208,937. And Bank of Maldives, or BML, says it sold an average of $74 million per month to customers for various needs during the first 4 months of this year.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Abdullah Ahil. And now the news in detail. The operating license of the safari vessel MV Duke of York is suspended indefinitely following a fatal diving incident in Vav Atoll, authorities stated, as Italy prepares to deploy technical experts and specialized equipment to assist in the high-risk search for 4 missing divers.
The Maldives National Defense Force Coast Guard and the Maritime Rescue Coordination Center received a report of 5 missing Italian divers, an instructor and 4 recreational divers at 1:45 p.m. on the 14th of May, launching immediate air and sea operations. Search teams from a nearby vessel recovered the instructor's body at nearly 60 meters outside an underwater cave where the remaining divers are believed trapped. Officials noted the 200-foot-long cavern requires specialized equipment with an entrance at 45 meters and an exit plunging to 60 meters. The Ministry of Tourism and Civil Aviation withheld the vessel's permit for a thorough investigation, underscoring that safety is a collective responsibility and urging regulatory compliance. Under the instruction of President Dr. Mohamed Muiz, who visited the site, the Maldives sought international assistance. The Maldivian government extended sympathies to the families and the Italian government, transmitting continuous operational updates directly to the Italian Foreign Ministry.
Brigadier General Mohammed Salim says efforts are underway to train Maldives National Defense Force Coast Guard officers to dive to depths of 100 meters, an initiative designed to enhance operational capacity and mitigate the significant risks military divers face during maritime search and rescue operations.
Speaking on the PSM News program Rajamyadu regarding maritime safety, Brigadier General Salim noted that military divers are currently qualified to reach depths of only 50 meters. To address this limitation, vital initiatives utilizing assistance from both the government and neighboring nations are being implemented to complete this advanced training before the close of the year. While the Maldives remains a safe destination, Brigadier General Salim observed that the paramount concern is strict adherence to regulations. Lieutenant Colonel Ali Niaz underscored that the critical importance of formulating a comprehensive dive plan cannot be overstated. To safeguard personnel, Lieutenant Colonel Niaz explained thorough evaluations of safety protocols, equipment integrity, and environmental conditions are essential. To guarantee security, dive boat operators and instructors must exercise significant vigilance, Lieutenant Colonel Niaz said, operating in accordance with established regulations to ensure the absolute protection of divers, particularly during inclement weather.
The government of the Maldives strongly condemns the storming of Al-Aqsa Mosque compound by Israeli officials and settlers under the protection of Israeli occupation forces. The government noted that such actions, including restricting access to the mosque, for worshippers blatantly violate international law. These acts also challenge the sanctity and legal status of the mosque, defying its long-standing history and religious significance. The government reiterated Israel should be held responsible for violating human rights through urgent and decisive measures by the international community. They are also liable for their blatant disregard for the long-standing status quo over Al-Aqsa Mosque, one of the most sacred sites for the Islamic Ummah. The Maldives reaffirmed their unwavering support for the legitimate rights of Palestinians, stating that urgent international measures are necessary to protect Islamic religious sites. The Maldives co-sponsors the draft United Nations Security Council or UNSC resolution on Strait of Hormuz in solidarity with Gulf Cooperation Council or GCC countries and Jordan. The draft resolution aims to protect international trade and supply chains and ensure maritime security and safe navigation through the strait. The Maldives' position pertaining to this is without prejudice to established laws of the sea. This comprises of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, customary international law, freedom of navigation, and the rights and jurisdiction of its archipelagic states. Under international law, the Maldives reserves the right to interpret this draft resolution, such as to protect its national interests, maritime jurisdictions, and archipelagic states. The Maldives emphasized the significance of de-escalation in the region and reducing humanitarian impact. This is especially important to minimize global supply chain disruptions and the resulting effects on vulnerable economies. All parties are urged to respect international law and bring about stability and peace throughout the region via diplomatic efforts and meaningful dialogue. According to recent data released by the Ministry of Homeland Security, Labor and Technology, the number of migrant workers operating with valid work permits in the Maldives has reached 208,937 as the government accelerates regulatory efforts to address undocumented labor.
Details of the state's enforcement strategy under Operation Kurangi, an initiative launched to resolve the persistent issue of undocumented migrant labor, were outlined by Ali Ihsan, the Homeland Security Minister, during the Addu Business Dialogue held in Addu City. Official figures provided by Minister Ihsan indicate that between the 12th of November 2023 and the 1st of May of this year, total submitted work permits declined from 295,678 to 232,884. Concurrently, a pre-2012 backlog of unverified permits fell from 86,741 to 19,904, while active permits rose from 208,937 to 212,980. Reflecting improved legal compliance, permits with valid visas and paid fees surged from 20% to 66%, while non-compliant permits dropped from 80% to 34%. In biometric registration, individuals submitting full 10 fingerprint records and photographs rose from 27,200 to 202,224, reducing the population lacking biometric documentation from 181,737 to 10,756. Though 6,716 additional individuals received entry authorization, officials identified 4,040 who have yet to complete initial fingerprint registration. Enforcement operations targeting unauthorized businesses and repatriation revealed that migrant workers with unexpired visas frequently work at unauthorized locations or outside their approved designations, immigration authorities stated. The population population operating illegally under an open visa to run private enterprises or secure alternative employment away from designated employers is steadily increasing, officials emphasized, advising the public, employers, and expatriates to adhere to the law.
The Minister of Homeland Security, Labor and Technology, Ali Hussain, announces plans to implement a comprehensive tracking system for foreigners traveling within the Maldives upon completion of the Maldives 2.0 digitization initiative. Minister Hussain made these statements during an appearance on PSM News Rajamia, the program, outlining the government's multi-layered approach to managing the foreign worker population and addressing the challenges posed by illegal immigration in the island nation. According to Minister Hussain, the new system will enable authorities to identify and register all foreigners boarding and disembarking from vessels at each point of the transport network. This capability, he explained, will prove particularly valuable in emergency situations where passengers may go missing during maritime incidents. The announcement forms part of a broader government strategy that encompasses both enforcement and administrative reforms. The minister confirmed that authorities are actively working to deport undocumented immigrants while simultaneously improving the mechanisms for bringing foreign workers into the country through legitimate channels. Complementing these efforts is the development of a white list of foreign employers, which will recognize companies that have maintained clean regulatory records and consistently fulfilled their fee obligations. Minister Hussain indicated that businesses meeting these criteria will receive expedited approval services through the digitized system, creating incentives for compliance and proper workplace practices. The government has already initiated significant groundwork toward these objectives through Operation Korangi, a nationwide operation designed to gather comprehensive information on the foreign worker population. A key component of this initiative involves establishing biometric registration systems at local councils throughout the country, enabling more accurate identification and documentation of all foreign nationals residing in the Maldives. The minister expressed confidence that these combined efforts would position the Maldives among the world's leading countries in foreign worker management by the conclusion of the current governmental term. The Ministry of Climate Change, Environment and Energy announces that 17.5 megawatts of renewable energy has been installed across 32 islands under 2 ongoing projects.
The government aims to increase renewable energy use to 33% of total electricity generation in the Maldives. With the global energy market destabilizing due to ongoing conflicts in the Middle East, special measures are needed to reduce the Maldives' expenditure on oil. Currently, 2 major solar hybrid projects are underway, including a 6.5 megawatt solar hybrid system covering 25 islands in Ba Atoll. According to the ministry, 95% of the project is complete. An 11 megawatt solar hybrid system is also being installed in several locations, including Kuludufushi City, Edafushi in Ba Atoll, Hinnavaru in Laviani Atoll, Tinadu in Gafdal Atoll, and Hitadu, Huludu, and Midu of Addu Atoll. This project has reached 97% completion. The Maldives currently spends around $443 million annually on oil for electricity generation, making energy imports a major economic burden with the rising prices of oil in the global market. Environmental concerns and climate change impacts are also key drivers of the shift toward renewable energy. The current renewable energy capacity in the Maldives is about 110 megawatts, with plans to double it to 220 megawatts by the end of the current term. The government aims to ensure that 33% of energy generation in the Maldives comes from renewable energy sources by 2028.
The Maldives Inland Revenue Authority, or MIRA, reports a significant increase in Zakat al-Mal collection for the current fiscal year, with the state collecting $3.29 million between January and April.
Reflecting growing compliance and awareness among taxpayers regarding their religious financial obligations. According to the latest statistics released by the State Tax Authority, February witnessed the highest monthly collection of Zakat al-Mal this year, with $765,500 received in a single month. The monthly breakdown reveals that $392,350 was collected in January, followed by the peak in February. March recorded $1.78 million, while April saw $350,325 in contributions. The rate of Zakat al-Mal, which represents the minimum obligatory amount that property owners must pay on their assets, is determined through a systematic process involving multiple government institutions. On the 21st of April, the Maldives Zakat House fixed the rate of zakat on silver at 36.70 per gram based on the market price of 21,836.50 per gram. The Central Bank, Maldives Monetary Authority or MMA, announces the prevailing prices of gold and silver in the market, meaning that the property zakat rate fluctuates in accordance with changes in global precious metal markets. Zakat al-Mal constitutes a fundamental religious obligation for all individuals who have reached the age of maturity, encompassing every eligible citizen and resident within the Maldives. Unlike some religious contributions that are confined to specific periods, Zakat al-Mal can be paid at any time throughout the calendar year, offering individuals flexibility in fulfilling the spiritual duty. The state has streamlined the payment process through MIRA, which enables taxpayers to fulfill their obligations online via the authority's official website. The digital platform also allows individuals to calculate the exact amount of property zakat they are required to pay, ensuring transparency and convenience in the compliance process.
The Bank of Maldives, or BML, says it sold an average of $74 million per month to customers for various needs during the first 4 months of this year.
According to the bank, this represents an increase of $27 million per month compared to the average monthly amount sold during the same period last year. BML recently introduced several changes to the way it provides US dollars to customers. Speaking on PSM News Rajamyo the program, BML CEO and Managing Director Mohammad Sharif said the bank is managing its dollar inflows in a way that ensures essential needs can continue to be met. He added that claims suggesting the bank is facing a shortage of dollar liquidity are not true. Sharif explained that the proportion of dollars customers are able to purchase and the bank's actual dollar liquidity are two completely different matters. He noted that BML holds more than half of all deposits in the Maldivian banking sector. Likewise, the bank has also issued the largest share of loans in the country. In 2025, the bank facilitated the inflow of $3.7 billion to the Maldives, which he said equates to around $10 million per day. During the same year, the bank also facilitated $3.3 billion in outward transfers from the country. BML's head of brand and marketing strategy, Mohammad Saeed, also shared details on how the bank is releasing dollars to customers. He said the amount of dollars provided by BML for various customer needs increased during the first 4 months of this year. BML currently provides customers with a $1,000 allowance for overseas point-of-sale transactions using Maldivian Rufiyaa debit cards. In addition, customers in the Maldives can access up to $3,000 through Rufiyaa debit cards for purchases such as airline tickets, medical expenses, and accommodation bookings. Since late 2024, the bank has also been providing a monthly limit of $1,200 to students studying abroad through dedicated student cards. Following the bank's latest of policy changes, students under the age of 18 studying overseas while using a Guardian's card will now also be issued student cards with a $1,200 limit.
Insights into business, U.S. President Donald Trump tells Fox News that China had agreed to order 200 Boeing jets, its first purchase of U.S.-made commercial jets in nearly a decade. That was far short of the roughly 500 markets had expected, and Boeing shares fell more than 4% after the comments.
Trump and China's Xi Jinping are wrapping up a two-day state visit that has featured pomp and business deals. Trump is on the first by a U.S. president to China, America's main strategic and economic rival since his last in 2017, and has been seeking tangible results to beef up his dented approval ratings ahead of crucial midterm elections. The summit has been aimed at maintaining a fragile trade truce struck when the leaders last met in October and Trump suspended triple-digit tariffs on Chinese goods, and Xi backed away from choking global supplies of vital rare earths.
Updates on world events. The United Nations says that peacekeepers in southern Lebanon continue to observe heavy military activity, including multiple Israeli airstrikes in various sectors.
UN Deputy Spokesperson Farhan Haq said the UN Interim Force in Lebanon recorded 377 firing incidents attributed to the Israel Defense Forces and 15 projectile trajectories attributed to Lebanese non-state actors, including Hezbollah.
Peacekeepers of the UN Interim Force in Lebanon continue to observe significant air and ground activity across the area of operations, including multiple Israeli airstrikes in both sectors east and west. Airstrikes were also reported north of the Litani River and in western Bekaa. Peacekeepers reported 377 firing incidents attributed to the Israel Defense Forces and 15 trajectories of projectiles attributed to Lebanese non-state actors, including Hezbollah.
Hug said Israeli operations included armored movements, engineering and demolition work, logistical traffic and artillery, mortar and rocket fire. The UN also said Israeli forces obstructed UNIFIL movements twice, including a tank pointing its gun towards a convoy escorting the Lebanese Red Cross. Hug called for respect for UN premises, personal safety, and UNIFIL's freedom of movement.
Moving on to sports, Michael Carrick says his future as Manchester United manager will be decided soon as he looks to end the season on a high with a top 3 Premier League finish, 4 places above their position in January when he took over as interim head coach.
Carrick helped United clinch 10 wins in the 15 top-flight games to ensure a place in the next season's Champions League. A point against Nottingham Forest on Sunday will seal United's third-place finish.
Listen, the future for me, it's going to be decided pretty soon. You know, we knew that was going to be towards the end of the season, if not the end of the season. So nothing's changed. There's no big swing on that. That is what it is. You know, and then obviously whatever's beyond that is pretty close around the corner anyway.
Media reports have said that Carrick, a former United midfielder, has already been offered the role of permanent manager.
It's a unique football club, special football club, you know, and I'm immensely proud to have come back and to be part of it, to help. As a supporter, as an ex-player and an ex-employee is one thing, but as a pure supporter and caring about the club so much, to be in a position to come back and help, and for as a group to move forward, it was important, I think, to make the big step to get back into the Champions League is good. Is good, and it's obviously we're happy with the work that we've done so far.
United midfielder Casemiro, who is set to leave in the close season after 4 years at the club, called for Carrick to be retained as permanent manager earlier this month. Carrick said Casemiro, who missed last weekend's trip to Sunderland, will be fit for his game at Old Trafford. Striker Benjamin Šeško, who also missed the Sunderland game, is not fully fit, the manager added. Netherlands centre-back Matthijs de Ligt, however, is likely to face months more on the sidelines and miss the World Cup, as United announced that the 26-year-old had undergone surgery for a back injury that has kept him out since November. Asked to evaluate the season, Carrick said he was happy with the improvement United have made after finishing 15th in the Premier League last season. United will end the season with a trip to Brighton and Hove Albion on May 24th.
Concluding with news in entertainment, Egyptian authorities exhibit a plaster blocking the wall of King Tutankhamun's tomb in Luxor and unveiled two restored ancient tombs on the west bank of the city that date back to the New Kingdom and contain scenes of daily life and funerary rituals.
Abdul Ghaffar Wagdi, Director General of Luxor Antiquities, said the wall is a unique artifact that has never been replicated in Egypt or anywhere else in the world because almost all pharaonic tombs were looted. The original plaster blocking wall of the tomb of King Tutankhamun is considered among the most prominent elements associated with the ceiling of the tomb discovered in 1922 by the British archaeologist Howard Carter, said the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. The ministry said the wall, displayed to the public for the first time at the Luxor Museum, was used to secure the entrances of the burial chamber and bore official stamps reflecting funerary rituals and the administrative authority associated with the king's burial. Wagdi said the wall bears seals belonging to Tutankhamun as well as those of the necropolis guards charged with keeping the tomb safe and protecting them from theft. The west bank of the River Nile at Luxor is home to the Valley of the Kings, where pharaohs and nobles of the New Kingdom were buried in tombs carved into the rock. Among the many New Kingdom pharaohs buried there was Tutankhamun, popularly known as King Tut, whose 14th century BC tomb and its full contents were unearthed in 1922. The ministry said the tombs that were opened are those of Rabuya and Isan Samut from the 18th dynasty, the first of the New Kingdom dynasties.
And that's all the news we have for today. We'll be back with any further updates. Until then, I'm Abdullah Ahil from PSM News.